Put on your headphones, take a little walk, and just listen. My name is Bajrang Kumar Garg. I am the founder and chief mentor of Gen Z EdTech and at SoulStill Sanctuary. I describe my work a little differently. I call myself a human experience architect. Not because I have all the answers, quite the opposite. I spend a lot of my time looking at ordinary things that we have stopped questioning. Education is one of them. I am a parent, I am an educator, and for years I have watched children, including my own, wake up early, go to school, come back tired, go for tuition, prepare for examinations, and then prepare for another examination. And somewhere along the way, one question started troubling me. What exactly are we educating them for? A child is born, everybody is delighted. Within a few years, one question begins. Which school? And once the school is decided, another journey begins. Uniform, school bag, homework, class test, unit test, half-yearly, final examination. Then class 10, boards, percentage, stream. Then class 12, boards again, entrance examination, college, degree, maybe another entrance examination, maybe a professional qualification, then the job. And somewhere while looking at this entire journey, I became curious. What exactly are we preparing this child for? Think about it. For almost the entire growing up years, the child is preparing for Monday, preparing for the test, preparing for boards, preparing for college, preparing for a career. Life seems permanently about to begin. Just finish class 10, then just finish class 12, then just get into a good college, then just finish your degree, then just get a good job. There is always another just. And perhaps that would be perfectly fine if we were very clear about what all this preparation was producing. After 12 or 14 years of schooling, what should an educated young person actually be able to do? Think clearly, communicate confidently, understand money, understand his own mind, work with people, question information, Learn something without being forced. Handle failure. Build something. Make a career decision. Live with another human being. Strangely, these are not always the things we first ask. We ask, how much? 92? 95? 98? The number arrives and somehow the conversation feels complete. But marks tell us something very specific. They tell us how a child performed in a particular assessment at a particular time under a particular system. Useful information, absolutely. But is that education? There is another number I want you to hear. According to India's UDISC Plus data for 24-25, the national retention rate from class 1 through class 12 was about 47%. Think about that image. Imagine 100 children beginning the journey, school bags, water bottles, new shoes, parents taking photographs, and as the years pass, the crowd becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. Some leave because of circumstance, some because of money, some change paths, some struggle, some find another way. Life happens. But the river narrows. And even for the children who remain, there are more gates ahead. College admission, professional courses, recruitment, jobs, promotions. Every time one gate opens, another one seems to appear. So perhaps we should ask ourselves something before the child spends 15 or 20 years learning how to pass through gates. Are we teaching the child how to build a life, or mainly how to qualify for the next round? Because those are not necessarily the same thing. And there is something else that has changed. The world in which our education system was designed is not the world in which our children are growing up. Knowledge was once difficult to access. Today, knowledge can enter the child's bedroom. A teacher can arrive through a screen. A difficult idea can be replayed 10 times. A question can be asked at midnight. A child can learn from someone sitting on the other side of the world. And artificial intelligence has taken that possibility even further. For perhaps the first time, a child can have something resembling a personal learning companion available whenever a question appears. Does that make school useless? Of course not. A school can give something extraordinary: friends, teachers, sport, community, conflict, cooperation, memories, the experience of growing up with other human beings. But if the world of learning has changed, shouldn't we at least ask whether the architecture of education should change too? Maybe the question is no longer which is the best school. Maybe it is what is the best learning architecture for this child. Maybe the question is no longer how many certificates will he collect. Maybe it is what will he actually learn. And perhaps the question is not even what will you become. Maybe before that, we should help the child discover who he is, what exists, and how to choose. That is what this series is about. Not destroying education, not blaming teachers, not blaming parents, not telling children to leave school, just looking again at something so familiar that perhaps we stopped looking at it altogether. School, marks, tuition, boards, degrees, careers, competition, success, failure. What do these words really mean? And what are they doing to the childhoods we are building? This is the education reset. We are not going to begin with answers. We are going to begin with questions. Because perhaps before we ask our children to study harder, we should understand what we are educating them for. SoulStill Sanctuary, whispers that build worlds.